This program is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.
Hey, welcome to the Chef Dana Show, everybody. I'm your host, Chef Dana Herbert, and we got a special show for you today. We have not done this before. We are doing beverages. So we're going to make all kinds of wonderful spritzers. I'm going to jump right into it because we're going to do 3 different kinds today, all right? First one, in this pot right here, that's bubbling. I have in here just a can of peaches, like one of those big cans of peaches. I put into the pot. I started boiling it. To that, we're going to add some sugar, right? As part of our drink base. And we're going to add a sprig of rosemary. This was originally one whole sprig. I cut it in half. But we're going to throw that in the pot. We're going to bring that to a simmer. You can see, because I put the sugar in there, it calmed down the bubbling. You can see the peaches, the rosemary, and the sugar hanging out there. So that's going to be our first beverage. If you want to throw a couple sprigs of rosemary in your rosemary and peach lemonade at the end, you can. So you can save a little sprig of rosemary there, right? And we got our lemons, which we'll save for a little bit later. Next one. This one was one that everybody was screaming for. This is my basil and lime spritzer. So for this one here, I'm going to do a little bit of sugar in the pot. I'm going to add a nice, healthy cupful of basil. All right, basil going in that pot. Nice, healthy cup full of basil. The lime juice I like to put in at the end. I think it's fresher that way versus cooking it and so forth. So I'm going to save the lime juice for later. So that's our second blend that we have going on. The third one, woo, now this one's a killer. I recently discovered that this was phenomenal. And I want to share this one with you guys. We're going to do a blackberry and sage spritzer, all right? So I know you're like, wow, Chef, you hooking it up on the drinks today. But with, spring and summer and all that coming, I'm like, why not? So into a pot, we're going to put our cup worth of sage, okay? And then we're going to put in here our sugar. So as you can tell, we're making drink syrups today, right? These are the basis for any great cocktail. So again, this one is peach and rosemary. Second one, we're doing a lime and basil, which is why I have my limes left over here. We're doing a lime and basil, all right? And then for the third one, we're doing a blackberry and sage spritzer. So all these basically will come to a simmer. We basically want the sugar to combine with the water. We're basically making simple syrups. Simple syrup is equal amounts of water and sugar. They boil, they come together. We just enhancing them by adding to it the different herbs and so forth. All right, so they're gonna bubble away. My peach one is doing lovely. I'm gonna honestly get the peach one off the heat and let it start to cool down a bit. It has the fresh rosemary in there. I only used 1 sprig. Rosemary is strong, right? So it doesn't take a whole lot for the rosemary to start to come out. Plus, we want to let this cool down a little bit and let it steep. The middle one there, the basil and lime one, I normally like to let the basil and the sugar go for a little bit, reduce just a little bit. I think it fortifies that lime flavor, the basil flavor in there even better. You'll notice that the syrup will actually look a little green when it comes out, all right? And then the same thing with the sage. The sage is one of those ones, you can see how it's already came to a simmer. It's already came to a boil on the sage one. I can get ready to turn the heat off. I don't need the syrup on the basil to really get like that tight. I just need the flavor to come out, okay? So this is the one here with the basil, with the sage. And even the sage one, because it is a green herb, it starts to take on a little bit of color. All right, so I'm gonna move that one off the heat. The only one that I'm gonna let go just a little while longer is going to be the basil one, because I want to get just a little bit tighter. All right, so the cool part about these spritzers is that the herbs in there have their own, I guess you could say, health benefits to them. The rosemary, and it's funny that I'm going to say this, the rosemary is a little more pungent than the other herbs, right? Except for sage. Sage got a little kick to it. But rosemary, you know, whatever you put rosemary in, you can tell right away, right? Well, rosemary is going to remind you that it's there. So one of its health benefits is that rosemary actually helps with brain function. Crazy, right? Helps with brain function. It's also known to help lower your cholesterol a little bit as well. So I love rosemary. When I started cooking, two distinct memories I have with rosemary. One was that we were using it in breads, and I love bread, which is probably why I own a bakery. We would make focaccia. I love the focaccia because it had the rosemary on there. But the second thing I learned about rosemary, and really a lot of these herbs, was I could use these herbs in a sweet capacity if I could close my eyes for just a second, right? If I could take this piece of rosemary, right? Close my eyes, smell it, and I could smell anything sweet about it, I could use it in a sweet capacity. So that's how I got into using herbs and so forth in some of my pastry dishes. The rosemary in particular, I throw it in caramel all the time. You throw a little sprig of rosemary in your caramel after you've done cooking it while it's still just a little warm, and it just kind of blossoms and creates something amazing. All right, so we're gonna let that one hang out for another second. The basil. Now, the basil is unique, also helps to lower the cholesterol a little bit. So that's one of the health benefits of basil. It helps to lower the, as you say, the bad cholesterol, right? Now, sage is its own little animal. Sage, how do I explain this? Sage has about 160 different, what do they call them? Polyphenols, right? And so these help with, as it being a antioxidant in your body. So sage is really unique in that way. It's known to help women with menopause. It's known to help lower blood sugars. It also helps with brain function. Sage actually has a lot going on with it, all right? So that's why I love the sage so much. You find it a lot of times in sausage, you know, when they're making pork sausage and so forth. But that's why I love the sage the way I do. All right. So I'm going to start here with the peach mixture. So I'm going to take some peaches out of my pot. I've had my rosemary in there hanging out. It doesn't take long for rosemary to do its thing, right? It's been hanging in there. It's been steeping. It's a strong herb, right? So I'm going to take some of my peach mixture. I'm excited about this show because we are making some drinks and it's going to be amazing. But we want to take this peach mixture, right? I'm going to pull the peaches out first, put it into some water. I think I got about 2 cups in there. And we're just throwing those peaches in the pot. I mean, in our pitcher. Okay. Almost there. Come on. Try not to pull out too much rosemary. But we're about to put this thing in the, use the hand mixer on this. And we're going to blend this up. Okay. Now I know you're like, Chef, well, what about all the juices and the goodness that you got in the pot, right? Well, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the rosemary sprigs out, right? And I'm going to pour the peach mixture right into my water and peaches. And if you get like a little needle or two in there. It's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt nobody. All right, so you see what I got going on right here, right? This is called yum yum. Then we're gonna take this over here and I'm going to blend this all together. And I mean, you can use your hand blender. You could use a food processor. You could use, what's some things nowadays? The Ninjas, the NutriBullets. All those are gonna work well. But we wanna make sure that this gets blended up real good. So it kind of looks almost like slightly like a peach nectar, right? Okay. All right. So we have that all blended up, right? Next move. Remember we had those lemons. Got those lemons. I got about 4 of them. 4 lemons. I'm gonna cut those in half. Okay, cut these lemons right in half. Y'all gonna thank me after this show. You're gonna be like, Chef done showed me so many drinks right now. This is crazy. That's right. So when all this, pandemic ends, we'll get back to entertaining. You'll have some good recipes, all right? So now I'm just gonna squeeze this juice in here. So it's about 4 lemons worth of juice, all right? Okay. Now the lemon pieces, I often save these. I put them right down the garbage disposal because they really do freshen up. The garbage disposal, a house, you put so much stuff down there. All right. Almost there. It's that old school lemonade. We're squeezing it in there. Okay. Now this one last half a lemon. This is just me. This is just Chef. Okay. I'm gonna take that half a lemon and I'm gonna slice it. And I'm gonna put it in my pitcher. A little garnish. Make it look fresh. Make it look nice. So just some lemon slices. And you could do wedges if you want, but I think the slices look better in the pitcher anyway. So I'm just slicing these up. Okay, remember we said we had the rosemary sprigs, right? We're gonna hold that too. We're gonna put them right here. I'm gonna grab some ice. Let me grab my ice. So we've got our juice in here. We've got our peach mixture. We got the lemon. Last 2 things. I'm gonna pour in the remaining water. Okay, bring it up a little bit. We're gonna put some ice in here. Get it chilling. And then we throw some lemon wedges on here. Okay, got my rosemary sprigs. And we got ourselves a party. All right, that's drink number 1. Yeah, got that peach and rosemary lemonade. Okay, peach and rosemary lemonade right there. All right, drink number 2 is, let's play with the sage a little bit. All right, that sage drink. We got the syrup made over there, right? I'm going to quickly kind of, what's the word for it? Crush, muddle would be another word we could use. Let's see, let me find a good spoon. Crush, muddle, mangle, smash these blackberries a little bit so they can start to release some of their juices. So I'm purposely beating it up, purposely bruising them, so to speak. Okay? By me breaking the berry, we're going to allow some of that flavor to come out. This flavor we're just going to end up dumping right into the pitcher, but we want to break it up a little bit first. This is kind of what they're doing like when they're making mojitos, right? When they're making mojitos, they have the sugar in the bottom of the glass, they have the mint, and they're doing this, smashing it up. So that's what we're doing today. Same thing, smashing it up, beat them up, so they'll release their juices. I'm definitely a blackberry person. Okay, and you can see the more you beat it up, the juicier they get. So we're bruising the fruit. Okay, so that's step one, bruising the fruit, right? You can see it's gotten a little juicier. Next step, lemons. This is the workout show today because we're going to be squeezing a few more lemons again. So you can take your lemons, cut them in half. This is the workout show. Chef is working, but it's going to be delicious. Squeeze them juices in there. Okay? I'll squeeze some juices in there. Now, if you have some, what's the word for it? If you have some lemons that are tough to squeeze or not getting a lot of juice out of, one of the things you can do is you can put it in the microwave. Warm it up a little bit, excite those molecules in there. At the end of the day, we're trying to crush the cells so they release their juices. Okay, and that's the last one. All right, wipe my board. So I'm gonna get a little spoon here and I'm just gonna pull a couple of those seeds out. Got my pitcher. Get a little spoon, pull out a few of those seeds. I see a couple seeds in here. I'm just gonna get rid of those since I see them. Okay, 2, 3. Now, if you had a chinois or some sort of strainer, you could use that. Okay. Oh, I see a couple. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take our mixture here. Look at that, it's another couple seeds. They show up. There they go. So if you see a seed, you can just pluck them out. So I'm going to pour my juice in here. Okay. Pour that juice in there. I'm just peeking to see if I got any more seeds. That's what I'm really doing. I'm telling on myself. That's what I'm doing. And I see a couple that I'm going to pull out. There they go. One there. There go one. There go one. I think I got them all. Oh, I was fibbing. I see one. Okay, here we go. Blackberries going in. It's another one. Are you kidding? All right. Okay, there we go. Blackberries going in. And I mean, if you find a seed, you know, it'll be like Mardi Gras. You're the winner. You found a little baby in there. In this case, a little seed, but not gonna hurt you. Okay, so there's our blackberries in there. Now, we got our blackberry. We got the, or we have the, my mom's a school teacher. We have the blackberries. We have the lemon juice. I'm gonna pour in here a little bit of Spritzer first. Uh-oh. Remember, when you open Spritzers, tonic water, seltzer, club soda, twist it, put it back on, twist it, put it back on. Because every once in a while, you'll get a surprise. All right, here we go. I'm going to pour in a little bit of this. Right? Get it going. So I'm going to go approximately a third of the way full. I got my syrup here. Got my syrup. I'll pour some of my syrup in there. Okay. And I'm going to stop about right there. Here's the reason why I stop right there. I stop right here because now I can make a judgment call and I can say, you know what, do I want it to be sweeter, less sweet? So I'm going to give it a little pour. And if you want it less sweet, then you just add a little bit more of this. If you want it more sweet, you add a little bit more of your syrup. Ooh, that is good. Oh my, let me tell you. Oh my word. Okay. The mix is like, I'm moving around, the mix is amazing. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of seltzer, right? I'm gonna add a little bit more syrup just to keep it balanced because it is like perfect. Perfect. Woo. Lord. Thank you for giving me this gift. Okay, look at that. You see all them blackberries moving around in there? Okay, that's drink number 2. Okay, look, we got number 1, and we got number 2 going on. I'm gonna move these around so we can get into number 3. That's number 1 and number 2. We have the peach lemonade, right? We got the blackberry and sage spritzer. Wow. Let's go for number 3. So number 3, I've had my my lime and basil concoction, right? So my lime and basil concoction is right here. I've basically created a syrup for these two, right? I've created a syrup. Now I want to basically take my syrup and I need to put some lime juice in here. I have just a little bit of water, about 1 cup of water. I'm gonna use 1, 2, 3, about 6 limes. 1 cup of water, 6 limes. I got my syrup. Okay. Cut these open. And we're gonna squeeze the juice right into the water. Okay, so we're gonna squeeze all our lime juice into the water, right? And I mean, if you want to, you can just drop your limes in there if you want them to be visible in your pitcher at the end. All right, so I'm just squeezing my lime juice into the water. Just like this. And then I'm just dropping the limes in there, right? Okay. Lime's going in, squeezing into the water. Got 2 more pieces to go. And last 2. Okay, there's my lime juice in the water. Next step, I have my syrup, right, that's been reducing. I'm gonna take that syrup, put it into the water. Now, couple things, in putting it in the water, it's gonna cool it down so that when I introduce it to the pitcher, I'm not putting a super hot liquid into a glass pitcher with ice. That's probably not the best thing to do. So therefore, I put it in some cool water, especially when I need to serve it like sooner than later. If you don't need to serve it sooner than later, you can leave your syrup on the stove. You could just let it cool down, so to speak, right? I'm just gonna stir this around with the water. Okay, I'm gonna slide over here to my fridge. I'm gonna grab one of my herbs here, some of my basil. Okay, got a nice new fresh pack of basil. I love basil, one of my favorite herbs. I like basil even in salads, just cutting the herbs up and just throwing it into your mixed greens. Well, it works wonderful in this spritzer also. So we're gonna put that right in there. Okay, that way people can actually see what they're drinking. All right. Next step, pour your mixture into your pitcher. All right, we'll let those limes fall right in there. Again, people can see what they're drinking. Okay. Next, let's take some lemon lime soda. And we're going to add that to our little buddy here. Okay. Oh, that looks about perfect. And then we're just going to stir it up. Okay. And the reason that we want to stir it up one more time is because how should I say this? The water and syrup mixture will tend to be a little heavier than the soda that you put in there at the very beginning. So we just want to stir it up so it becomes one nice little mixture. All right. And so there we go, guys. We have the basil and lime spritzer. We've got our nice little blackberry and sage spritzer. And we have some peach lemonade. All right. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on the Chef Dana Show. Next week, we'll be back with some more amazing recipes. I'm Chef Dana, and I will see you guys next time.